Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes you have to wonder if these police chiefs even have a job to do, especially when you hear this next story. So, this came out in the Daily Beast, October 10th, 2021. Police chief of troubled department flames out after calling female employees bees. After being diagnosed with breast cancer in 2019, Regina Stanley, a records manager for the Rocky Mount Police Department in Virginia, began a period of tests, doctor visits, and hospitalizations, chemotherapy, and surgeries. But instead of receiving support from her boss, then Police Chief Ken Kreiner, Stanley alleges that, he was making all kinds of insensitive comments about her condition. So he would say the bee gets a little bump on her titty. This is what he was saying. This is a police chief, y'all, and has to be out 5 weeks, Krenner said, according to the complaint review by the Daily Beast. You got to wonder, these guys sound like they got way too much time on their hands. Carrie Hodges, a records clerk, said in her own complaint that during the same time period, Craner referred to herself as Stanley as two B's he wished he could have gotten rid of and replaced with hotties, as if he looks hot. He looks like a hot mess, and said, I would tap that after seeing attractive women in the office. Well, he's not an attractive man. That's what gets me about. You know what? That's what gets me about these dudes. They're always talking about somebody's appearance, and their appearance ain't even good. Okay, let's move on. Wow. Both complaints were made in May of 2020 and were among four lodged by members of the 20-person department against Kriener. So that he got four complaints from internal office members in 1 year. Wow. All right, so they said he would regularly refer to the two female town officials and police department employees as bees and cunts. Mm, mm, mm. And that he created a hostile environment that left employees on pins and needles. Well, a good thing, y'all. He was finally suspended from his post. Um, while the complaints against him were investigated. But according to court filings, those familiar with this police chief, his conduct, who spoke to the Daily Beast, said, they spoke about his behavior afterwards. You know, the problem is when these things happen, they take way too long to act. You could file a complaint and weeks will go by and nobody in the office will do anything when they should have done something. And this happens way too often. I mean, this has even happened where I work. There were a few women that filed sexual harassment charge against a couple of different men in the office, and it just seemed like it took forever for them to even get to the complaint. And this is really the norm, and it seems like it happened in this case as well. So in January, his department also made the news because a few of his officers went up to the insurrection. Mm-mm-mm. And these were officers that worked under the same police chief. Mm-mm-mm. Thomas Robertson and Jacob Fracker. They were the two that went to the insurrection. All right, so last month, this police chief finally resigned. He should have been fired. He should not have been allowed to resign, but he resigned, serving 7 years as chief in the town, though insiders said he was likely forced out. A new lawsuit filed by one of the complainers of this police chief has now brought much of the inner turmoil surfacing, his alleged misconduct into the public eye. And, they reached out to him for comment, and of course, he did not comment. Typical coward. Joseph Stanley, a local critic of this police chief who operates three parody websites related to the police department, uh, told the Daily Beast that he hopes the lawsuit will bring needed scrutiny to the town of 5,000. And he said that has been trying to sweep its troubles over the past year under the rug. And he said, Kreiner did not act as a vacuum, Stanley said. Accountability is something that Rocky Mount fights, which, I mean, most police departments all rail against accountability. Nobody wants to be accountable. Officials for the town of Rocky Mount did not respond to a request for comment. So, I mean, good. I'm glad this dude is out. Here we go. I did a story yesterday on one that was sending inappropriate text messages to women. And now you got this one going around the office calling women bees. Mm-mm-mm. You can't make this up. But see, these folks got the nerve to tell you people like this police chief deserves respect. No, he doesn't. And him being forced out, that was the best thing ever. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.